The time has arrived. Let's welcome our first fighter making his way to the cage, Dominick the Devastator Reyes.
At LA Live, Steve Inman joined along with Rich Slayton, and I'm joining you tonight. I mean, I'm in your house, I'm reaching in your fridge, and I'm so glad to be here with you guys, and just glad you guys let me through the front door. Very
Hey,
cool.
we're happy to have you here.
Yeah.
It's a great night of fights. Super excited. We're starting off the hot fight tonight.
Yeah, Dominick the Devastator Reyes making his way to the cage. Only 23 years old, but stands at 6'4". And, you know, his Camo record is 2-0. And for some of the fans that don't know Camo, because we're always talking about the amateur and all that, go ahead and explain a little bit about that.
Camo is the California Amateur Mixed Martial Arts Organization. It's our own regulatory body specifically for the amateurs. So we'll notice some differences tonight, though, between the amateur product and the professional product. We have 3 2-minute rounds rather than 3 5-minute rounds.
Sure.
Or, for some of the more experienced fighters, 3 3-minute rounds.
Now, is there elbows that are taken out?
No elbows
No
or
elbows.
knees to the head of an opponent in any position whatsoever. Knees are allowed, though, to the body. You can knee and elbow the body as much as you want to. Go for it. Have a good old time.
And we like those. We love that when that happens. But Reyes, what do you know about Dominick the Devastator?
Well, if there's one thing you want to say about the Devastator, Dominick is a high-level athlete. He was a highly touted defensive back at Stony Brook in New York. He's part of the Stony Brook Seawolves, first team All-Big South, an NFL prospect. And his brother, Alex Reyes, is also a professional fighter.
Well, so far, this is obviously the first match of the evening. And if you need more information on the University of MMA, you can always visit us online, universityofmma.com.
Absolutely.
And you can see your beautiful picture on there too, right?
Oh, yeah, I am gorgeous yet pale.
Hey, pasty is in, man. It's all good.
Well, one guy who's not pasty is Dominick Reyes. You know, we're talking about the athleticism of Dominick Reyes, but you can't take away from his technique. High-level, powerful striking in close quarters.
And his opponent making his way to the cage, Bruno Pelo Loco Casillas.
Well, a little age difference here. He stands at 6'1". He's 30 years old. Bruno Casillas. Now, in the world of MMA, we know that a lot of people get a later start in age. And, you know, mixed martial arts is continuing to evolve. You see guys like Dan the Beast Severn, who's like almost 60, sometimes keeps retiring and then comes back. I mean, 30 years old, at one time in boxing, that would have been a little too old, but MMA is a little bit different if you think about it.
Well, you know, when you mix in jiu-jitsu and the ability to avoid strikes and control where the game goes, there's a lot more longevity. I mean, you've had some boxers who are still boxing way past their prime.
Sure.
And this isn't the oldest guy we've had here in the amateurs. Jens Grau, whose teammate is fighting here tonight, Jens Grau was fighting for us over the age of 40 as an amateur fighter, and he's just turning pro now.
Well, it's amazing for these fighters tonight. Not only are we going to see 2 titles later on here, but to get an opportunity to be on national television for these amateurs is just a very huge thing. Do you think that's going to add some pressure to this for some of these fighters, or are they not even caring?
I don't think they're even thinking about that right now. You know, when I even reminded them that it was on TV, they were like, "Oh yeah, I forgot."
Okay,
Totally.
I just came to fight.
No, these guys are all here. They're focused on one thing, and that's winning the fight. You know, and our first fight here between Dominick and Bruno. Bruno was on a bad streak early on, fixed it around with a nice 3-fight winning streak. He was taking time to train independently, but now he's with Mike Donnell over at Valhalla Elite Training Center, who calls Bruno the Parasite. And he says we're going to see a brand new Bruno Casillas tonight. He's not thinking about the TV. Dominick's not thinking about the TV. We just have 2 high-level amateurs ready to go 3 2-minute rounds.
We're going to go ahead and throw it to Salvador Arellano to get the official fight started here.
Our first fight of the evening is scheduled for 3 2-minute rounds in the light heavyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the Lucas Oil blue corner, a kickboxing and wrestling practitioner. He comes to the cage with a record of 2 wins and no losses. 1 win coming by way of knockout, 1 by submission. He stands at 6 feet 4 inches tall and weighed in at 202 pounds. Representing Cage Combat Academy from Hesperia, California, Dominick the Devastator Reyes. And his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the Lucas Oil red corner, a freestyle fighter. He brings a record of 3 wins and 4 losses to the cage. 2 wins coming by way of knockout. He stands at 6 feet 1 inches tall and weighed in at 199.4 pounds. Fighting with Valhalla Elite Fight Team from Santa Barbara, California, Bruno Pelo Casillas.
Well, here we go. We are set for this matchup between these 2 fighters. Dominick the Devastator Reyes set to take on Bruno Casillas. And I'd have to say Bruno Casillas has probably had a couple more fights.
A little more
Dom.
experience. but don't take that away.
Sure.
You know, Dominick Reyes is a very powerful striker in close quarters. What I didn't mention earlier is that straight left, that you'll see him fighting lefty. And that straight left is going to be a big part of the story tonight because Bruno Casillas tends to leave his head on the center line.
And Bruno just defending the takedown there, but slams him up against the cage there.
Digging that knee deep in. Again, that athleticism of Dominick Reyes coming forward early. I'll be interested if we go to the ground with this one because Bruno has shown some pretty great submission defense so far.
Oh, and he catches him with a big left. And now just in survival mode here for a second.
Like I talked about, that close quarter striking of Dominick Reyes. I really love how Dominick's mixing it up right now, throwing low, throwing to the body, throwing to the head.
And lets his hands down there, luring him in just a bit there.
Well, Dominick's very, very confident. The only really negative you can say about his game so far is he does leave his chin a little high sometimes.
Sure.
And with a guy as powerful as Bruno, that can be pretty dangerous.
The Devastator Reyes continues to work Bruno Casillas up against the cage, and they'll break free here.
Nice straight left there from Dominick. Yeah, so far we see Bruno moving his head a little bit before he throws, but when he's throwing, you see there, keeping his head right on the center line, and with that straight punching of Reyes, that's going to be a problem all night.
And you can tell Bruno probably wants to take this to the ground, but not able to do that. A lot easier said than done.
Well, again, you have an NCAA high-level football player, a guy who was scouted for the NFL. So you already have really strong hips, strong legs. It's going to be harder to get that guy to the mat.
Absolutely.
I really like the patience we're seeing here from Dominick.
And 10 seconds remains here. And finishes strong is Dominick the Devastator Reyes with a nice takedown there.
Really beautiful first round from Dominick.
You know, I noticed compared to when I've seen three-minute rounds, 2 minutes rounds, they know that they got to put a lot on the line in that 2 minutes. I mean, it's more like the action is pushed a little more.
Well, when you put it in context, it's a 6-minute fight. That's just over one round.
Yeah.
So if you're not putting everything in during those 3 120-second periods, you're doing something wrong. One takedown in one of these amateur fights can change an entire round. So you have to be on point the entire time and come out firing first.
And if you're just tuning in, this is King of the Cage in support of the University of MMA here on MAV TV, brought to you by Lucas Oil. We're here at Club Nokia inside of LA Live. Your commentator, Steve Inman, joined along with Rich Slayton, who is the voice of U of MMA. Are you the dean here, man? Is that what it is?
You know, I'm a professor.
You're the professor. There you go.
No, I don't want that responsibility of being the dean.
Yeah.
I just want to go in, get tenure, and hang out.
Yeah, the dean always has to hand out discipline. You don't want to discipline these guys.
You know, one more thing your viewers might notice here is that we have shin guards on these fighters, and the gloves are a little bigger. For amateurs in California, they use 6-ounce gloves rather than 4-ounce gloves. And unless you have more than 3 fights, you're not allowed to be without shin guards. So
Yeah,
you have that for protection of these young amateur fighters.
It's not just the color popping. Those gloves are actually a little bit bigger.
Nice trade in the kicks there from these guys.
And Bruno tries to go in for that takedown again, but Dominick is going to just punish him for his efforts.
Well, you see Dominick really digs those knees in the clinch, and he's been known for that in the past, really putting those deep. You saw Ronda Rousey, of course, winning her last fight by that left knee into the liver, and Dominick really looks for that when he's in the clinch. And there, you know, that fancy technique, he gets punished for it.
And then Dominick the Devastator Reyes ends up on top, and this could be a dangerous position now. With somebody, like you said, with the background of NFL and all that stuff, I mean, that's the last thing. You don't want this guy on your back.
Well, we actually haven't seen much of his ground game so far. He did win his first fight against Nato Godinho by submission in the first round, but we haven't seen much of his ground game here in the U. But yeah, a big, powerful, strong guy like that. The other thing about Dominick, he's a finisher. He knows when to pour it on and when to pull off on the gas pedal. And right now, looks like he's really trying to turn it up here.
Well, right now, we may witness a little bit of the ground game of Dominick Reyes. So far, trying to set up that looks almost like a Dan Severn choke, but now just getting out of it as he tries to go out the back door.
You know, Dominick might be better served trying to punch out in that situation. Bruno Casillas has shown really great submission defense in the past. Joshua Neal put him in deep choke attempts in round 1 and round 2. So he's always been very, very good against chokes.
Bruno Casillas gets taken down again.
Well, it looked like Bruno was going for the takedown himself and just got himself out of position. And again, with a guy who's got so much experience really managing the lower half of his body, if you're not in the proper position trying to do a drag like that, you're going to get mounted or taken the back like we have here.
Looks like Dominick Reyes will finish strong once again here. And I'll tell you what, you know, these 3-minute rounds that we're used to, the amateur, the 2 minutes, I mean, the pace of it is just so quick. You can't even blink.
Oh, yeah.
Because these guys want to finish it. They want it over with.
Well, I mean, both these guys know that, again, just a couple little beats can change an entire round. 60 seconds is half of a round.
Yeah.
So if you're not on it right out the gate, and of course, no one wants to go to the judges, no one wants to leave that decision out there.
Sure.
You know, if I'm going to pick someone right now, I have to say that I think Dominick's ahead. But Bruno was definitely showing himself well, taking advantage of the mistakes of Dominick Reyes. If I'm in Reyes' corner, I'm telling him, hey, stick to the basics, don't get flashy. When you're staying tight, you're winning this fight.
And the great thing about it is, you know, the feel-out process is over. You're going into the third round. I believe Bruno's like, well, you can't do anything more to hurt me. Let's see what we can do here in this round.
Yeah, I want to see Bruno try to control the distance a little better and wait to counter-strike. He's done a great job of countering Dominick when he's trying to swing big. So if Bruno just holds back and waits for those opportunities, I mean, yes, he's behind right now, but what you don't want to do is start coming forward, make those big mistakes, and get into the clinch game with a guy who's been dominating that part of the FASM so far.
Well, this is the third and final round, and so far, Dominick the Devastator Reyes has been pretty much controlling the pace of this fight, and Bruno's just looking to change that here in round number 3.
And there you go, Bruno coming forward, landed a couple right hands there, but here's where he doesn't want to be, is in that clinch. This is where Dominick's so powerful. That looks like a low blow here. Didn't see exactly where it hit, but someone got caught. Oh, I guess it was Dominick.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to decipher there. And of course, King of the Cage, in support of the University of MMA, is being brought to you in part by Lucas Oil. And of course, we want to thank our sponsors at WSS. For more information on that, you can always log on to shopwss.com.
Shoes, style, selection.
I like shoes, man. I like shoes.
When I was 23, I went on a sneaker kick. And I think I spent about $1,000 on shoes I didn't need.
Just to load your closet up?
Yep.
I want to be one of those guys on Cribs. Nice closet full of shoes. And
right now, Dominick's got a closet full of pain.
Yeah.
He's trying to work through.
Absolutely.
You know, it's so hard to try to figure out what a good solution is to this. Yeah, you can see him getting caught right there. You know, that Muay Thai metal cup does a good job, but it's not comfortable for many guys.
No.
They don't like it very much. A lot of people talk about the Diamond MMA, those compression jocks, that seem to do a pretty good job. But, you know, if you take one straight in the kisser,
yeah,
or the other kisser, I guess.
You're going to go from an aggressive face to a sad face real fast.
Very uncomfortable. A little swelling there over the left eye, or under the left eye, Bruno Casillas. But he's coming forward, a nice kick to the body with that right cross.
I think the motivation between Bruno right now, knowing that he's down a couple rounds, looking to just change this quickly, coming in real aggressive.
This is the part I don't understand, though, is Bruno letting this turn into the clinch game, because this is where it happens right again. Dominick Reyes on top like he was in the first 2 rounds.
And he's trying to reverse this, and we'll see what he can do from the full guard.
Really great sweep there by Bruno Casillas. Very basic, simple jiu-jitsu. And a lot of people say, just keep it simple, stupid.
That's what my uncle used to always tell me, too.
You got to wonder if that shot, that unfortunate low blow, took any energy here out of Dominick Reyes. I'm not sure if Reyes is trying to drop down. Yeah, dropping down for a single. You know, it's interesting seeing, we've seen the clinch game of Dominick in the past, but a lot more wrestling here from him this time around.
Bruno looking for another takedown here.
He's got his hands locked. If he can just get those legs together and elevate the hips of Dominick Reyes. Good job trying to keep it low there, though, from the Devastator.
And less than 10 seconds remains here. The round is going to conclude. I'm sure Casillas was feeling the pressure in that round.
Really great third round, though, from Bruno.
Sure.
You know, I think he's probably still behind on these scorecards, although you never know.
Yeah.
But Bruno really did a great job of showing what he's capable of, pulling it out and doing a good performance here in that final round.
And tonight, later on, the championships are on the line.
Ooh,
And
yeah.
very excited about that. It's always a different fight sometimes when a title is on the line. A little more pressure. The fighters feel it. The fans feel it. I mean, what do you know about these guys that are going to be fighting for the title here in the main event?
Two great belts coming up. You know, really pertinent to this fight we have in front of us, we have the light heavyweight championship later tonight between Jarrell Cephas from Extreme Couture and Ozzy Diaz from NCT Pancration. Both really top-level guys who've been here with us for a while. Jarrell Cephas, a great karate practitioner, fantastic striking, really, really powerful, dangerous guy. And Ozzy Diaz, an experienced guy here for the amateurs. He's been through a lot of wars, and he's been showing off his hands lately as well. And this is a fantastic fight for us to be talking about in conjunction with that light heavyweight championship, because if Dominick Reyes does pull out this win here, which I suspect that he will, he's at least on, he might be away from a #1 contender shot.
And that's always a good thing.
You know, it was interesting, we were talking about that athleticism of Dominick Reyes, and I think that really is what translated to him dominating that grappling game. You know, Bruno had dominant positions with the hands a couple times. Bruno was getting there with some underhooks, but Dominick Reyes just so strong, so able to create torque from his core. And you saw it when those exchanges, as they were going to the ground, Dominick just found a way to end up on top.
Yeah, and, you know, he would make Bruno pay. Every time he tried to go for a takedown, he was going to get a couple knees to the head. For the official announcement, we're going to go ahead and throw it to Sal Ariano.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we have a unanimous decision. First judge scores a fight at 30-27. Second judge scores a fight 29-28. Third and final judge scores a fight 29-28 for your winner by unanimous decision. Out of the blue corner, Dominick the Devastator Reyes.
And as we thought, you know, Dominick the Devastator Reyes pulls out the victory. Bruno just got started a little bit too late there in round number 3.
Yeah, it took Bruno a little bit of time to figure out what Dominick Reyes is doing. A guy who's that long, you know, Dominick's 6'4", and that 3 inches changes a whole lot about what happens in that fight. Took him a while to get his footing under him, to figure out what Dominick was doing. You know, if there is one thing I would say about Dominick, he needs to be careful about those counter strikes. That's where he was getting caught. He would throw a little bit wild there late. In that third round, Bruno was landing some shots. But Dominick has nowhere to go but up from here. He's young, 23 years old. He's training with a great team, and I think the sky's the limit for this.